Daniel Black joining us from For Whom the Cowbell Tolls. It's the Mississippi State platform on SB Nation. Daniel, when you look at this team, I'm sure the selection has probably already been made by SEC media of where the preseason projection is. Typically, it's looking up at the rest of the division. There was the upset, as you alluded to, against Texas A&M last year. Some people believe there's going to be a few more of those this year. So if you can look at the bright side and maybe the negative aspect, what would be the one or two elements of this team that makes you think that they've got a chance to make some noise in the SEC West? And then on the downside, maybe some concerns that point to another difficulty in just getting to postseason play.
The bright side is this is as talented of a team as Dan Mullen has had at Mississippi State. We've got an extremely talented quarterback with Nick Fitzgerald. I've already mentioned him. He is as one of the top three quarterbacks, I'd say, in the SEC. If I would have to rank him, it would be in no particular order. You can rank them in any order you want to. They're so talented. But I'd probably go with Jalen Hurts, Shea Patterson, and Nick Fitzgerald. Our running back is one of the most under-the-radar running backs in the SEC, which is not surprising knowing that the conference has the likes of Sony Michel, Nick Chubb, and Darius Geis. But Eris Williams out of West Point, Mississippi, last year was sort of a running back by committee in the first half of the season. Towards the end, Eris Williams was the bright star coming out of the season. He rushed for his best performance was against Ole Miss, a 55-20 victory. Rushed for 191 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was a 4-star out of high school. I mentioned West Point, which is just 10 to 15 minutes outside of Starkville. He's a hometown kid. Everyone loves him because he's from the Starkville area. He is a really, really, really good running back. Once again, how loaded the SEC is at running back. The fact that I'm saying that he could be one of the best in the conference just shows how talented he is. Our offensive line, it was pretty poor last year and the year before that in 2015. Luckily, in 2015, we had an experienced Dak Prescott. But I mentioned guys like Martinez Rankin, who is going to fill holes in the offensive line and what should be a pretty stout offensive line. And at defense, last year we were absolutely horrible, but we have a new defensive coordinator, Todd Grantham. Dan Mullen decided to go for a more experienced face. Last year we had Peter Sermon, whose prior experience was being the defensive line coach at USC, had no true experience in the conference, was a graduate assistant at Tennessee for a couple of years, but that was the extent of his experience in the Southeast. But Todd Grantham is a guy that Dan Mullen knew can get the job done immediately, and we have talent at all positions. At linebacker, we have guys like Gary Green and Leo Lewis. Defensive backs, we have Brandon Bryant, Jamal Peters, and we assigned 8 junior college guys, one of which being a 4-star Chauncey Rivers. So this is as talented of a team. This is a complete team. There are some holes at wide receiver and a hole or two in the offensive line, but still, it is as complete of a team as Dan Mullen has had. But